From the background, she's a pharmacist and brings with her many years of management experience as well as a broad knowledge from operational clinical research as well as training of clinical professionals. And the second speaker of the SCTO is Professor Clara Vosfey-Barbe. She is the president of the SwissPedNet, and she was appointed as assistant professor at the Department of General Pediatrics of the Faculty of Medicine in 2014 in Geneva, in full professor in October 2017. She's also deputy medical director of the University Hospitals of Geneva, and her research interests include infectious problems in immunocompromised young patients, the evaluation of new diagnostic technologies and genetic factors predisposing for infectious diseases. She's also interested in the ethical issues of clinical research in children. Thank you.
Does it work? Yeah, it works. Huh? For the introduction. So Peter was a very visionary person, as we already heard, and he was one of the first also realizing the importance of research infrastructure, so that there needs to be something in place to really make things happen. And research infrastructures, they go together with collaboration. That's our vision and mission, and as you can see, collaboration, working together is, so to say, in the genes of our organization. So what we basically do is a lot of coordination work and really also bringing those people together who are the expert and the best persons to resolve an issue. That's the organigram, eventually not so easy to read. So we are an association. We have, our members are institutions, university hospitals, 2 cantonal hospitals, the Swiss Academy of Medical Sciences and the Collège des Doyens. And representatives of these organizations are delegated to the steering board. We have observers, SwissPedNet as an example, and we also have an advisory board. And then we have the more executing board, the board of SCTO directors and the executive office in Bern, where we do all the liaison and coordination work in the end. So just, we heard a lot about collaboration this morning. I think we are a kind of case study how this may look like. One example of collaboration is the SCTO network. So we are again and again in a way breaking the silos. So we have a very close collaboration with the clinical trial units at the members I just mentioned. Then another collaboration is that from these clinical trial units we bring the experts together for specific topics. So auditing as an example, they are currently doing audits of each other. So it's very, very high transparency. They are really looking into the details, how people work, how processes are organized. So this is very nice to see collaboration, trust, learning from each other. And we do this in different fields in clinical research, bringing the experts together from the different silos. Then this was already mentioned, the collaboration patient and public. We got mandated from the Swiss National Science Foundation, and we also collaborate with SPHN on that purpose to really see how we can better involve patient and public in the future. And we are establishing this Swiss PPI hub, again with the idea that the SCTO is bringing together the right people. So we are not the experts, but we bring the experts together and we coordinate the whole thing. And you can, this is the link also to find more information. We already have practical tools also on how this collaboration can look like. And we will have from now on, this was Cordula Landgraf, she's also in the room, she's responsible for this Swiss PPI hub. We have a pencast, short like a video explaining what PPI means, also for patients and public. Then this is a collaboration with partners. We are also in a European network, the ECRA, European Clinical Research Infrastructure Network. That's actually a network of networks, a landmark of the European Strategy Forum for Research Infrastructure. So quite a good collaboration, important for Switzerland also in the light of not being eligible for Horizon Europe projects anymore. This is very important. And then the national players as well, where we have regular exchange and concrete projects also. Then we heard a lot about the importance of definition. I'm talking about research infrastructure. What is a research infrastructure? This is actually facilitating research. It's not research itself. So data sharing, for example, is not research. This also needs a research infrastructure in order to work in the end. And the SCTO with these CTUs, we are a so-called distributed research infrastructure. And with the CTUs all over Switzerland and the national node, the executive office at Bern. This is just to give a common understanding of what a research infrastructure in our understanding is. And they are a new strategic priority of the Federation because Switzerland, as mentioned, is no longer eligible for Horizon Europe projects, but they can still collaborate very closely in research, in European research infrastructure. So this is why this is now also a clear priority for the Federation. Then another need for definitions is what means quality in clinical research. Is it just the absence of error, or is it really to follow the path from the correct questions to the good performance up to what you are doing with the results in the end? And I think it's very important to understand that it needs both. It needs a quality scientific question, but it needs also the quality of information in the end. So it's not either one or the other, but it needs both. And now some issues. One issue in collaboration, we already heard that, is people. So we need to listen to each other. It's not only to collaborate, but really to listen, to understand, to build up trust. We heard that already several times. Then funding. Again, here funding would be a kind of leverage to really foster collaboration and also to give a certain pressure to use research infrastructure in order to have proper results in the end. And then the third point, the acknowledgement and recognition. We already heard that several times. So we are thinking about clinical research as a team effort, and everyone in that team should be valued, not only the clinical researcher, but really each team member, the people doing data management, the people doing the statistics and so on. So it's really important to value all the same. And we will hear about the proof of concept of what we did. What would be potential measures as breaking silos? I was already talking about that we should think more in multidisciplinary teams, also consistent with other people that were speaking today, that we shouldn't do local and small projects, but rather national and international projects, because clinical research is definitely not a cantonal thing, nor an institutional one. We should align on a definition of what we understand under adequate quality or excellence in clinical research, because this is very often different from person to person. And this is not in line with what has been said this morning. I sometimes really feel that there should also be some top-down decisions, institutional ones, to really enable change. Bottom-up is good, but I think it's also a certain need for top-down to make really things happen in the end. And collaboration should also be fun. So if we have reached something, and I must say over the years we reached a lot as team and as group, and we also tried to celebrate when we did something well. And I think with that I hand over to SwissPedNet.
Hello to all. I hope you're all okay. Thank you for the organizers for not forgetting pediatrics for once in clinical research, and I'm very proud to present what we have done over the years in SwissPedNet. So what was the situation 10 years ago? We are celebrating this year our 10th anniversary. We realized that there were specific needs for pediatric clinical trials, meaning that they need special stuff, they need special equipment, special nurses, special infrastructures. There was, and unfortunately there is still, an unmet and urgent need for pediatric clinical trials to improve patient care because children are not always the same. A newborn that weighs 500 grams is not the same as a teenager that weighs 80 kilograms, and therefore we need all kinds of different studies to look at drugs, but also all other cares for the children. There were pediatric-specific networks that were created in Finland, Germany, the UK, and other countries in Europe, and this all helped multinational research, and we really needed something in Switzerland. And we also needed to be attractive and competitive for international funding agencies. When individuals went to Europe, they always said that, okay, this is good, but we don't want one person, we want a group. And this was especially important for the European ENPR-EMA network, which I will talk about it soon. And when the SCTO was founded with its network of CTUs, there was this thing that we shouldn't reproduce exactly what the CTU was doing, but we should connect a different type of pediatric hubs. And this was, of course, supported by the Collège des Chefs A of Pediatrics. So this is the idea. It was to complement the CTU network and not reproduce similar things for the pediatrics. So for all of the hubs, we added some of our clinical hubs, and there are two partners that I will talk about too soon. So the first step in 2012 was that the SNF granted the position of a coordinator for the pediatric research infrastructure. And their prerequisite was similar to what we had in mind. They did not want us to duplicate already existing structures of the adult medicine. And the coordinator must be employed outside of one of the structures. We didn't want one center to become the main center. It had to be a neutral institution. And therefore, the SCTO hosted this coordinator. We also fortunately got some help from the ASSM with some seed money to start the hubs. And we also asked all institutions that were involved to provide some funding, either directly or indirectly, to help grow with the program. So what we wanted to do is to guarantee the quality aspects of research in children through age-adequate infrastructures, clinical facility for children, staff, pediatrics trained personnel, same quality management all over the network, same pediatric-specific guidance documents such as guidelines, SOPs, working instructions to help this communication and this transmission of studies. And all hubs had to sign a level of agreement with SwissPedNet to get their funding and also to contribute. So we have now two main partners in Europe. We are members of the ENPR-EMA, the European Network for Pediatric Research at the European Medicines Agency. And we are also the Swiss hub in the C4C, Connect for Children project, and we're actually part of one of the projects itself. So since 2012, what happened? So we now have 9 pediatric hubs, and we have 1 or 2 actually who are waiting to become pediatric hubs. And we have 2 structures, SwissPed Registry and SwissPed Pharmacy, that are also members of SwissPedNet. And we became a research infrastructure of national importance with funding also by SERI for clinical pediatric hubs. And it is the official clinical research organization for Pédiatrie Suisse, so the pediatricians general group. And within this prize, we give a Young Pediatric Research Prize. It is a strong partner for investigator-initiated projects, including those for the IICT and SwissPed Data and SwissPed Health. And it is well recognized as a partner for industry-derived studies. We also developed a pediatric-specific training for clinical research, meaning that we didn't duplicate what is already done with the SCTO, and we encourage people to follow those education opportunities, but for pediatric-specific things, we developed our own. So today, we have federal funds that boosted the activities in pediatric clinical research. We have a close collaboration between the hubs and a close collaboration with the SCTO. And we have more than 200 open multi-center clinical studies or registries that are currently running in the SwissPedNet. And this is a thank you from the board for listening to me today. Thank you very much.